Hello, this is Dr. Wyatt. I'm going to demonstrate creating an MLA style student paper in Microsoft Word for the Mac, for Windows, and online. I want to show you the differences just so you see that Word is Word. A lot of students think, well, I have Word for the Mac, I can't do this, or I have Word for Windows, this other thing doesn't work the same way. So I want everyone to see that Word is Word. We can do the same things. There may be some differences, but nothing too extreme. So that's why I'm doing the Word, Word, and Word demonstration. So the first thing that I did was I just started a blank document. And what I'm going to do is make sure that the layout has 1-inch margins all the way around. So I'm going to go to margins, and you'll see that normal. Now mine is set in picas. 6 picas is an inch. Don't worry about it. Yours will say normal. It'll say 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. A pica is a printing term, and because I do a lot of publishing work and a lot of design work, I work in picas. But 1 inch is the normal default for Word. And then what I'm going to do is set up my header. So up in my header area, the header, you do not want a different first page. You do want to show the text, and you're going to go home. In this case, my header defaults to a line. I don't want a line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Align Right button. It's the third one over. There's left, center, and right. I'm going to align to the right. And you put your last name, a space, and then the page number. Now, in this case, I'm going to go to the header footer tab. And what you can see are there are formats like page number right here. So page number, and I'm going to go ahead and tell it to insert the page number. You can also do that on the Mac by going to Insert. And if you choose field or page numbers, that will work as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do Insert Field, just so you can see what Insert Field is. And I'm going to tell it that I want the page number. Page. Insert. And so now it says Wyatt 1. Lots of ways to do it, as I said, but the big thing is you want your last name and then the page number for MLA. Within the document, you want to make sure that you set normal up properly. So I'm going to go to normal, and I'm going to tell it to modify. The normal style, it's really important for MLA that you choose something that's in 12 point, and then we need to change the paragraph and the line spacing. So I'm going to go to Format Paragraph. And the Format Paragraph, this is really, really, really important. So I'm going to tell mine that I don't want any special indents. I want no space before, no space after. The line spacing is going to be double. Everything in an MLA or APA paper is double spaced. Do not have any extra spacing before and after paragraphs, and you don't want to set any special indentations. You do want to make sure that the tabs are set, and your first tab that you're going to want is at half an inch. So you can do 0.5 inch, and you can set it, and it'll be there. And that's just setting the tab. And now I'm going to hit OK. Now, you'll see up in the ruler that that tab is there now. The reason for that is paragraphs in MLA and APA need to be indented a half inch. So by setting that half inch tab, it's already there. Now, the first thing you put is your full name. So in my case, I'm going to put Christopher Scott Wyatt. Now, when it says full name, that is for APA, they want the full name, no matter what you go by. MLA says you can choose your own. I use Christopher Scott Wyatt because it turns out there's several Christopher Scott Wyatts in academia. Now, when I hit enter, notice it is already double spaced. There you want to put your professor's name. In MLA, you use doctor. APA says professor or doctor. Personally, I don't think it matters, but understand that doctor means someone with a PhD. So because we are at a college, Temple College, that may not have PhD instructors for all subjects, what I would use is professor. That's just my own advice. So I'm going to put Professor Paula Jones. Now I hit enter. You then type the course name, number, and section. So let's just say that this is a business course. So I'm going to put business, and I'm going to call it 1315. I'm not sure if there really is such a thing. Dash, and then I would put my section number. So let's say that I am in section 4010. So I'm in section 4010. The date, very important. Dates in MLA and APA are in ISO. So they are in international standard, not US standard. So ISO is the International Standards Organization. So I'm going to just put 25, and I'm going to put September and 2025. Now you go down a line. You don't skip anything extra, and what you do is you center your title. So center. And this is my title for a paper. There it is. It's in title case, which means that small words like the articles a, an, and the are only capitalized if they're the first word. Simple prepositions and simple verbs are also not capitalized in some title case. Now when I hit enter, I'm still centered, so I'm going to go back to the left, and now I start my first paragraph with the tab. This is an example MLA paper. And I would start typing. That's all there is to it. So that is the MLA paper. As long as I keep typing, I will be double spaced. When I reach the end of my paper, always remember, don't just hit enter, enter, enter to get to the blank page. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a page break. And then if I had a bibliography, I could put the bibliography right there. And again, I would center the text, and I would put the words bibliography or works cited for, bibliography, or works cited for APA. And then I would start working on that. Again, start with the left. So as you can see, not too difficult to set up an MLA compliant paper. Something that's really cool about Microsoft Word is you can go over to the design, and if you drop down the fonts, you can automatically tell it to change the font. So if an instructor comes back to you and says, well, we do it the old-fashioned way, and we want you to use Times New Roman and Arial, you can then choose that combination. And you can see how it changes the combination. So if they say that they're fine with Cambria, then you can choose Cambria and Calibri. But whatever you do, you can change it right here. Because you're using styles, you don't have to manually change it. Now, I happen to like Georgia. Georgia is one of the styles that has been accepted by both MLA and APA. It's a little easier to read than Times New Roman, so I'll click it. And now all of my paper is in Georgia. One of the really nice things about using styles. Now what I'm going to do is take this exact same approach, and I'm going to tab over to my Word for Windows. This is Word for Windows. And one of the nice things, I use a Mac that runs Windows and the Apple operating system, the Mac OS. So I'm going to come over to my layout. Again, I'm going to drop down the margins. And remember, I want normal, 1 inch all the way around. And there it is. Awesome. So I already have those set up. I'm going to go back to home. I'm going to make sure that normal is the way that I want normal. Remember, we want to change it to a paragraph format that is set to 12, a 12 type, good. We want to double space, so let's check here. There's the line spacing, so we can choose double, or I think that's also 1.5, which I'm not a big fan of. You can change the color and some other things too. But there is the double. So the double is the third one over. So now I've got my double spaced and I've got everything set up. I'm also going to go fix that tab. Remember, we want that tab at 0.5 inches. And I'm going to hit set, and there it is. Okay, and okay. So now I have all of the margins set. And again, I would do my full name. Then the professor, so I'm going to do Professor Jones, let's say that Jones is okay for that professor. And then I'm going to do the course name and number. So I will do business 1315-4010. The date, remember I want to do the date 25 September 2025, and then come down for the title. Now I noticed something here already. This looks wrong to me. It looks like it's got some extra space in there. So what I want to do is I want to check normal because something about this isn't right to me visually. So let me check the paragraph settings. Sure enough, look right there. After, it's set to 8. I don't want that. I don't want any extra space before and after. One of the defaults for some reason in Word for Windows is that extra space. So now I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to hit OK. Look at that. It has fixed all of the spacing in the normal style. So now I can center and do, this is a title for my paper. Hit Enter, go back to the left. And again, because I set those tabs, I can hit Tab and I'm at a ½ inch. This is the start of a paper. And there we go. So now it's all set. I have to come up here into the header now. Remember, the header, the thing about it is I want to go home. I want to go all the way over to the right. And I want to put my name. And then I want to put the number. So again, you can go to Insert Page Number. And there you go. So I want it at the top of the page. And there we go. And I can put Wyatt. There. So now I have my name on every page in the right position. I have my paper formatted properly in Word for Windows. And again, the only problem is that it defaulted to a little bit of extra space after each paragraph, which isn't allowed in MLA style. So we want to avoid that. And now I am going to show you that there is Word Online. So the Word Online, if I create a blank document, I have all of the same tools. And you'll see that there's normal, here's my formatting. So what I can do is check first off my layout. Let's make sure that the margins are 1 inch. They are. That's fantastic. Since I have the 1 inch margins, I'm going to go back to here. Let's check normal. Now, one of the strange things about the styles in Word for the web or Google Docs is the way you change the style is you first do it and then you apply it to the selection or update to match the selection. So what I can do is format and then say I want normal to be double spaced or set in some other unique way. So that's how you would modify the normal. But we're in normal, that's good. I'm going to see that I'm text aligned properly. You can see all of these tools are still here. I want to change the line spacing to double. And remember that when I change it to double, I want to make sure that there is no extra space after. And unfortunately, just like Word for Windows, it defaults to space after. Don't want that space after a paragraph. Let me review that because Word for the web is different. We're going to go here, the 3 dots, the ellipses, and we're going to set our line spacing to double. We're going to set our paragraph options to no spaces before or after paragraphs, then hit OK. Now that I have this working the way I want it to do, now what I can do is say update to match selection. And now what will happen is normal should be double spaced. So I'm going to put Christopher Scott Wyatt, Dr. Paula Jones. Let's see here. It was a business course. We're going to say business 1315-40, let's say 60 this time. And again, my date, I want to do an international standard format. There it is. And then I center my title. So I'm going to come to alignment and choose center. This is my title. So you see I just shortened it this time, but here we are. And then I want to go back to alignment over on the left. One of the things you can turn on to make things a little bit easier is the ruler. And you can see that there is no tab right there. The easiest way to set a tab, unfortunately, in the web version is to click it and to tell it to add a left tab stop, and then just make sure you kind of position it right at a 1/2 inch. Now you will have the tab stop at the 1/2 inch. And now there's my paper template. I know that's a lot to take in, but again, you can do this for the Mac, for Windows, or for the web version of Word, and it works just fine. Now I'm going to come over to header and footer. I'm going to click up here. Notice that there's a box all the way over. Again, it's different on the web than it was anywhere else. Up in the web, it's a table, and you're filling that in. So I'm going to put Wyatt dash, and then you can put your page number. So I'm going to do page numbers there. So now my page numbers are there for me in the upper right corner. Everything is properly double spaced and the web is good to go. Again, there it is in Windows, which is pretty cool. And if I go to the Mac, there it is, good to go. And again, just like on the Mac where I could go to design and I could change the fonts, let's do that. I can go over to the Windows version, which is very cool. All of this gets pretty routine. Over time, you'll really get familiar with it. Really cool thing is I can go over to here to design, drop it down, and just like I did on the Mac, I'm going to choose Georgia this time, and now everything's in Georgia. So very cool to use the design mode. You can customize the look, the colors. That's how I do your handouts, is I type it up and then I apply the design styles from Word. Unfortunately, with MLA and APA, though, you don't get to be that creative. Anyway, this is Dr. Wyatt. I hope this helps. This was how to format an MLA paper without using a template in Microsoft Word, Word for Mac, Word for Windows, and Word for the web. Thank you very much.